He feared she would pull the trigger, but what she said changed his life. First contact. Commander Tristan Vale's boots echoed against the metal deck plates as he patrolled the dimly lit corridors of Orbital Station Helios. The night cycle meant most of the station's 5,000 inhabitants were asleep, leaving the passageways eerily silent. Just how he liked it. 3 years as chief of security had taught him to treasure these solitary patrols. Away from the constant reports, the endless meetings, the administrative duties that threatened to drown him. Here in the quiet, he could think. His hand unconsciously tightened around his pulse rifle, a habit left over from 15 years in the Terran Defense Force. The weapon's familiar weight was reassuring, though he hadn't had to fire it outside of the training range since taking this post. Helios was supposed to be safe, the jewel of humanity's scientific outposts, positioned at the edge of explored space. A marvel of engineering, even if the aging station showed signs of wear. Cracked floor panels, occasionally flickering lights, and the ever-present hum of life support systems working harder than they should. A sound stopped him mid-stride, ragged breathing coming from an alcove ahead. Tristan raised his rifle, muscle memory taking over as he approached with practiced caution. Security. Show yourself, he called, his deep voice carrying the authority of command. The breathing hitched, followed by a shuffling sound. Tristan rounded the corner, weapon raised, and froze. Slumped against the wall in a pool of iridescent blue liquid was a humanoid figure unlike any he'd encountered before. Female, judging by her form, with skin so pale it seemed to glow with an inner light against the darkness of the alcove. Long hair the color of a nebula, swirls of deep indigo and violet, framed a face of striking beauty. Most remarkable were the crystalline ridges that followed the curve of her forehead and temples, catching the dim emergency lighting and refracting it in mesmerizing patterns. The blue fluid, blood, he realized, seeped from a wound in her side, staining the form-fitting charcoal suit she wore. And in her hand, a weapon unlike any he'd seen before, its barrel pointed directly at him. "Don't move," she said, her voice melodic despite the obvious pain. Her eyes, with irises the color of cosmic dust, remained fixed on him with fierce intensity. Tristan kept his weapon steady. "You're injured. On a restricted station. I suggest you lower your weapon and explain yourself." "I can't do that, human." She winced, shifting slightly. "Not until I know you won't take what I'm protecting. I'm Commander Tristan Vale, Chief of Security. Whatever you're protecting, you're in no condition to defend it. Let me help you." Her eyes narrowed, assessing him with unnerving focus. "Trust is a luxury I cannot afford, Commander." "Trust is all you have right now," he countered. "You're bleeding out in my station. Lower your weapon, and I'll get you medical attention." For a long moment, they remained locked in standoff. Tristan noticed details about her he'd missed initially, the intricate patterns etched into what he'd thought were simply armor plates on her suit, the strange pendant at her throat that pulsed with a soft light in rhythm with her breathing. Finally, she spoke. "I am Nyx of the Stellari. My ship was attacked. I had no choice but to seek refuge here." "The Stellari are a myth," Tristan replied, recalling tales of a reclusive species said to navigate the stars before humans had even left Earth. A pained smile touched her lips. Many truths have been reduced to myths by time. With effort, she lowered her weapon. "I will accept your help, Commander Vale, but know that what I carry must be protected at all costs." Slowly, she reached into a concealed pocket in her suit. Tristan's finger tightened on his trigger. "Easy," he warned. "If I meant you harm, you would already be dead," she replied calmly. From the pocket, she withdrew an object approximately the size of her palm. It floated above her hand, emitting soft pulses of azure light that spiraled outward in geometric patterns. Within its crystalline structure, something shifted and moved as if alive. "This is all that matters," Nyx whispered, her voice fading as her strength ebbed. "They will come for it. They must not find it." Before Tristan could question her further, her eyes rolled back and she collapsed forward. He lunged, catching her surprisingly light form before she hit the deck. The mysterious object continued to hover, now above them both. "Medical emergency, Sector 7, Level 3. He barked into his comm, Priority Alpha. Securing her weapon in his belt, he lifted Nyx into his arms. The artifact, for lack of a better term, drifted alongside them as if tethered to her by invisible means. It hummed with a frequency he felt rather than heard, vibrations that seemed to resonate within his own body. As he strode quickly toward the medical bay, Tristan couldn't shake the feeling that something fundamental had just shifted in his ordered existence. This was no ordinary refugee, and whatever she carried was certainly worth killing for. Dr. Leora Reeves was already waiting when Tristan burst through the medical bay doors, the Stellari woman limp in his arms. What in the void's name? Leora breathed, her dark eyes widening at the sight of the alien woman. Get her on the bio bed. Vitals now. Medical drones swarmed as Tristan carefully placed Nyx on the examination table. The floating artifact continued its silent vigil beside her. Commander, I need space to work, Leora said briskly, already scanning the alien's body with practiced efficiency. And someone needs to explain what that thing is. Tristan gently plucked the artifact from the air. To his surprise, it settled into his palm willingly, its pulsing light shifting from blue to a warm gold where it touched his skin. I was hoping she could tell us that, he replied, studying the object. Within its crystalline depths, patterns shifted like digital code, but organic, alive somehow. She said people were coming for it. Leora's fingers flew over the biobit controls. Well, they'll have to wait. Her physiology is unlike anything in our database. Similar to humanoid baseline, but with significant divergences in organ placement and cellular structure. Her blood contains microscopic crystalline structures that appear to be breaking down. Can you help her? I'm a doctor, not a xenobiologist, Leora muttered, but I've patched up stranger things than her on frontier worlds. The wound itself is straightforward, energy weapon, medium caliber. It's the blood loss and these failing crystalline structures that concern me. The artifact in Tristan's hand suddenly pulsed brighter, and to his astonishment, a holographic display blossomed above it, showing what appeared to be biological data, cellular diagrams, molecular structures, and a swirling double helix unlike human DNA. It's helping us, he realized aloud. Leora glanced at the display, her professional composure briefly cracking. That's her genetic code and cellular makeup. How's that thing? I have no idea, Tristan admitted, but I suggest you use it. For the next hour, Tristan watched as Dr. Reeves worked to stabilize the alien woman, occasionally consulting the artifact's mysteriously helpful displays. Throughout the procedure, he couldn't tear his eyes from Nyx's face, so human in many ways, yet utterly alien in others. The crystalline ridges along her temples caught the medical bay's harsh light, refracting it into tiny rainbows across her still features. Who was she really? What was she running from? And why did he feel an inexplicable connection to both her and the strange object he now held? She's stabilizing, Leora finally announced, wiping her brow. Her biology is remarkable, already healing at rates I've only seen in genetically enhanced soldiers. She should regain consciousness within a few hours. I need to know the moment she wakes up, Tristan said, reluctantly placing the artifact in a secure medical container. It dimmed slightly as he released it, as if expressing disappointment. And this stays under highest security protocols. No reports, no documentation. Leora raised an eyebrow. Keeping secrets from Station Command? Until I know what we're dealing with, yes. Tristan's expression hardened. She said they would come for this. I'm not risking Helios until I know who they are. As if summoned by his words, his comm unit chirped urgently. Commander, came the voice of his second-in-command. Unscheduled ship approaching. IFF registers as a private mining vessel, but their approach vector is all wrong and they're ignoring hailing protocols. Tristan's jaw tightened. How long? 20 minutes out. Sir. Their energy signature is masking something. Weapons, I think. Sound silent alert. Security teams to defensive positions, but keep it quiet. I don't want to start a panic. He glanced at the unconscious Stellari woman. And place a double guard on medical, unmarked, and in civilian clothes. Understood, sir. He turned back to Dr. Reeves. It seems our guest pursuers didn't waste any time. Keep her hidden, keep her alive. And what will you be doing? Leora asked. Tristan's hand moved to the alien weapon now secured at his hip, preparing a welcome party. As he strode from the medical bay, his mind raced through tactical options. Regular protocols wouldn't cover this situation. Whatever Nyx carried, whoever was pursuing her, he had the overwhelming sense that Helios, and perhaps much more, hung in the balance. For the first time in years, Commander Tristan Vale felt the electric thrill of genuine danger. And beneath that, something else, something he couldn't quite name, a sense that he stood at the threshold of discoveries that would change everything he thought he knew about the universe and humanity's place within it. The artifact's warm pulse seemed to echo in his palm long after he'd set it down, like a promise or a warning. Ancient whispers. The security control center of Helios Station hummed with tense activity as Tristan studied the approaching vessel on the main display. Its outline suggested a standard Frontier Mining Corporation hauler, but the energy readings told a different story. Thermal signatures indicate military-grade shielding, Lieutenant Desmond reported, his dark fingers dancing across the control panel. And those aren't mining drones in their launch bays. Time to intercept? Tristan asked, not taking his eyes off the display. 15 minutes. They're taking their time, trying to look casual. Nothing casual about ignoring 7 hailing attempts. Tristan tapped his comm status on our guest. Dr. Reeves's voice came through, pitched low. Still unconscious, but stable. The artifact is behaving oddly. Define oddly. It's projecting star charts on the isolation room walls. Charts of regions I don't recognize. Tristan made a decision. I need someone I can trust to examine that artifact. Someone who won't report directly to station administration. You're thinking of Juno, Desmond said, a hint of concern in his voice. Chief Engineer Faye knows more about exotic technology than anyone on this station. Tristan was already moving toward the door. And she knows how to keep secrets. Lieutenant, you have command. If that ship makes any aggressive moves, initiate defense protocols, but don't fire first. I want to know who we're dealing with. And if they ask about our guest? What guest? Tristan replied with a grim smile. As far as official records show, we haven't had any unscheduled arrivals. Chief Engineer Juno Faye's private workshop was tucked away in the least trafficked section of Helios's engineering deck, exactly how she preferred it. The space was a chaotic wonderland of half-assembled devices, holographic schematics, and technology that skirted the edges of what was officially sanctioned by Alliance regulations. When Tristan entered, Juno was suspended in a harness above a disassembled gravitational stabilizer, her compact frame swaying slightly as she manipulated its inner workings with augmented precision tools extending from her mechanical right arm. Whatever it is, I'm busy, she called without looking up, her voice carrying the slight metallic resonance common to those who had spent too many years working near engine cores. Too busy for precursor technology? Tristan asked. The precision tools retracted instantly into Juno's prosthetic arm. Her harness descended, bringing her face-to-face with Tristan. Despite being nearly a foot shorter, Juno managed to look intimidating with her shaved head, the neural interface ports visible at her temples, and eyes that had been replaced with multispectrum optical implants that glowed a soft amber. Precursor as in the theoretical advanced civilization that disappeared 50,000 years ago? She peeled off her work gloves. The one whose existence is officially classified as unconfirmed by the Alliance? That's the one. Juno's augmented eyes narrowed, scanning him. You're serious. I need your help, Juno. Off the books. A slow smile spread across her face. Well now, that's the first interesting thing anyone said to me in months. The medical isolation room was guarded by 2 of Tristan's most trusted officers, dressed in maintenance uniforms. They nodded as he approached with Juno. Remember, Tristan warned as the door slid open, what you're about to see doesn't leave this room. The sight that greeted them made even Juno stop short. The Stellari woman lay on the biobed, her skin emitting a subtle luminescence in the dimmed lighting. Above her, the artifact floated, projecting intricate holographic star maps and strange symbols across every surface. By the void, Juno whispered, her augmented eyes rapidly capturing and analyzing the data. A living Stellari. I thought they were extinct. Or mythical. Dr. Reeves looked up from her monitoring station. Her recovery rate is remarkable. Whatever she is, her cellular regeneration is unlike anything I've seen. Juno approached the floating artifact, her mechanical arm extending sensors. And this is the technology you mentioned? Careful, Tristan cautioned. It seems to respond to touch, and before he could finish, Juno's organic hand reached out, fingertips brushing the crystalline surface. The artifact immediately flared with brilliant light, its projection shifting from star maps to a cascade of complex mathematical equations and engineering schematics. It's interfacing with my neural implants, Juno gasped, her augmented eyes rapidly cycling through spectrum analyses. This isn't just technology, Tristan. It's alive somehow. Adaptive. Intelligent. Can you understand what it's showing us? Partially. Juno's voice took on a distant quality. It's a key of some kind. Part of a larger system. The mathematics behind it, it's beautiful. Operating on principles we've barely theorized. A soft voice interrupted them. It recognizes potential. All eyes turned to the biobed. Nyx was awake, her cosmic dust eyes fixed on them with calm intensity. "You shouldn't be conscious yet," Dr. Reeves said, quickly checking the monitors. "My kind heal differently than yours." Nyx's gaze found Tristan. "You kept your word, Commander. And you've protected the resonance key." "Is that what it's called?" Tristan asked, moving closer to the bed. "In your language, that would be the closest translation." Nyx tried to sit up, wincing slightly. "It's responding to all of you because you have the potential it seeks. Especially you, Commander." Tristan felt a strange warmth spread through him at her words. "What exactly is it the key to?" Nyx's expression grew solemn. "Something that could save us all, or destroy everything if it falls into the wrong hands." She looked toward the door. "And those hands are already here, aren't they?" As if on cue, Tristan's comm unit chimed. "Commander," came Desmond's voice, "the vessel is requesting emergency docking. They're claiming engine trouble." "Denied," Tristan replied immediately. "Offer assistance via maintenance drones." "They're insisting, sir. Their captain is citing Alliance Regulation 15B, mandatory assistance to vessels in distress." Tristan met Nyx's knowing gaze. "Stall them. I'll be there shortly." He turned to Dr. Reeves. "Is she stable enough to move?" "Barely, but—" "They'll board by force if necessary," Nyx interjected. "The Shadows always do." "Shadows?" Juno asked. "A faction among my people who believe the precursor legacy belongs exclusively to them. They've spent centuries searching for the keys." Nyx's fingers brushed the artifact, which pulsed in response. "I discovered this one hidden on a dead world. When I learned what it was, what it could lead to, I couldn't let them have it." "And what exactly does it lead to?" Tristan pressed. Nyx's eyes met his, and for a moment he felt as though he were falling into the depths of space itself. The Architect's Cradle. A vessel of unimaginable power, hidden at the edge of known space. The Shadowers believe it contains weapons capable of reshaping reality. They would use it to establish dominance over all species. "And what do you believe it contains?" Juno asked, her enhanced eyes never leaving the artifact. "Hope. Evolution. The next step in our shared cosmic journey." Nyx's voice softened. "The architects, what you call precursors, didn't vanish. They transcended, leaving behind keys for those worthy to follow." The artifact pulsed brighter, its projection shifting to show a massive structure unlike anything Tristan had ever seen. Organic yet mechanical, beautiful yet terrifying in its complexity. "That's the cradle," Nyx explained. "This key alone cannot locate it, but it contains part of the navigational sequence. There are others scattered across the galaxy." Tristan's comm unit interrupted again. "Commander, they're threatening to file a formal complaint with Alliance Command if we don't grant emergency docking within the hour." "We need to move," Tristan decided. "Juno, is there anywhere on this station we can hide her and the artifact?" The engineer's expression turned calculating. "Better idea. We don't hide on the station at all." She tapped a sequence into her wrist device, bringing up a schematic. "Project Phantom. My prototype stealth vessel. It's docked in the auxiliary hangar under a radiation warning quarantine." "A stealth ship?" Dr. Reeves looked skeptical. "That violates at least 7 Alliance protocols." "Only if they know about it," Juno replied with a wink of her augmented eye. "The Phantom can outrun anything the Shadowers have, and its hull incorporates experimental phase shift technology that makes it nearly undetectable." Nyx studied the schematic floating above Juno's wrist. "This technology, it incorporates principles similar to architect designs. Reverse-engineered from fragments found in the Cygnus expanse," Juno admitted. "Officially, those fragments don't exist either." Tristan made his decision. "Doctor, can you stabilize her for transport?" "I can, but I should accompany you. Her physiology is unlike anything in our medical database." "That makes 4 of us then." Tristan looked at each of them in turn. "Once we leave, there's no coming back until we resolve this." "Are you all certain?" Juno's augmented eyes gleamed. "A chance to study both precursor tech and a living Stellari? Try and stop me." "My duty is to my patient," Dr. Reeves said simply. Nyx's gaze held Tristan's. "You don't have to do this, Commander. This isn't your fight." "It became my fight when you collapsed in my station," he replied, surprised by the conviction in his own voice. "Besides, I'm not letting technology that powerful fall into anyone's hands until I understand it better." A small smile curved Nyx's lips. "The key chose well when it called to me here." "It called you? To Helios specifically?" "I followed its guidance after taking it from the vault. Of all the stations, all the worlds I could have sought refuge." Her eyes seemed to look through him, into him. It led me to you, Commander Vale. Something shifted in the air between them, a recognition, a possibility. Tristan found himself unable to look away from her otherworldly gaze, feeling as though some unspoken understanding had passed between them. The moment was broken by Juno clearing her throat. As fascinating as this cosmic connection is, we have a ship to steal and a station to escape. Might I suggest we move before our unwelcome visitors decide to force their way in? Tristan nodded briskly. Doctor, prepare her for transport. Juno, get to the Phantom and initiate pre-launch sequences. I'll create a diversion to buy us time. As they moved into action, the artifact floated toward Tristan, hovering before him expectantly. When he reached out, it settled into his palm with a pulse of warm light that seemed to resonate with something deep within him. It recognizes you, Nyx said softly. As it did me. What does that mean? I'm not entirely sure, she admitted. But the architects rarely left anything to chance. There's a purpose to this connection to all of this. As Tristan secured the artifact in a specialized container Juno provided, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had crossed a threshold from which there would be no return. His ordered life as Helios Station's security chief now seemed like a distant memory, replaced by mysteries that span the cosmos and a connection to the enigmatic woman watching him with stars in her eyes. Whatever waited for them beyond Helios, one thing was certain: nothing would ever be the same again. The auxiliary hangar was bathed in red warning lights, the radiation quarantine signs ensuring no casual visitors. Juno's access codes cleared their way through 3 security checkpoints, each more isolated than the last. Station administration doesn't even know this section exists, she explained as they helped Nyx through the final doorway. Official maps show it as a structural reinforcement zone. When the inner doors parted, Tristan stopped in amazement. The ship before them bore little resemblance to standard Alliance vessels. Its hull was a deep matte black that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The lines were sleek yet organic, with no visible engine ports or weapon systems. It reminded him of a predatory creature, elegant and lethal. Beautiful, isn't she? Juno said with unmistakable pride. 3 years of secret development. The phase shift technology integrates with the hull material at the quantum level, allowing it to partially exist in multiple dimensional states simultaneously. In simpler terms, Dr. Reeves asked, supporting Nyx with a steadying arm. It's almost invisible to conventional sensors, and faster than anything in the Alliance fleet. Nyx studied the vessel with newfound interest. The principles are similar to Stellari shadowcraft, but more advanced in some ways. She turned to Juno with respect in her eyes. Your mind works along paths few humans tread. Highest compliment I've ever received. Juno grinned, tapping a sequence on her wrist device. The Phantom's entry ramp descended silently. Welcome aboard the only ship in human space that might actually get us where we need to go without getting us killed. Tristan's comm unit chimed once more. Commander, Desmond's voice was tense. They've overridden docking protocols. Their ship is forcing an emergency lock on Bay 3. They're coming aboard. Understood. Initiate security protocol Delta. Full lockdown, section by section. Tristan looked to the others. We need to move. Now. As they boarded the Phantom, the artifact in its container began to pulse with increasing intensity. Ambient lighting within the ship responded, systems coming online before Juno even reached the controls. That's not supposed to happen, she muttered, sliding into the pilot's seat. The startup sequence requires biometric authorization. Nyx touched the artifact's container gently. It's interfacing with your ship, recognizing compatible technology. Her eyes widened suddenly. It's showing me something. Coordinates. Where to? Tristan asked, securing her in one of the passenger seats as Dr. Reeves monitored her vital signs. A place of safety. Of answers. Nyx looked up at him, her expression both frightened and exhilarated. The first archive. One of the repositories the architects left behind. The ship's engines hummed to life, a sound unlike any conventional drive, more like a musical note sustained at the edge of hearing. Displays flickered with information, navigation systems plotting a course to coordinates that shouldn't have existed in any human database. The station's defense systems are tracking us, Juno reported. They'll try to lock us down once they realize what's happening. Tristan took the co-pilot's seat. Then let's not give them time to realize it. The Phantom rose from its berth with unnatural grace, its phase shift technology already engaging. Through the viewports, The hangar seemed to shimmer and distort around them. The Shadowers, Nyx warned. They'll sense the key's activation. They'll follow. Let them try, Juno replied, her augmented eyes interfacing directly with the ship's systems. Prepare for phase shift, jump on my mark. The hangar doors ahead remained sealed, but Juno showed no signs of slowing. Juno, Tristan questioned, eyeing the rapidly approaching barrier. Conventional matter can't pass through those doors, she agreed with a feral grin. But we won't be entirely conventional in about 3, 2, 1. The Phantom's hull shimmered, reality itself seeming to bend around them. As they reached the sealed hangar doors, instead of impact, there was a sensation like passing through a membrane, a moment of impossible pressure, then release. And they were through, emerging into the star-flecked void beyond Helios Station. Behind them, alarm systems blared as the station detected their unauthorized departure. Ahead lay the vast unknown, guided by an artifact older than human civilization and an alien woman who had crossed the stars to find them. Coordinates locked, Juno announced. First archive, whatever that is, here we come. As the Phantom accelerated away from the only home Tristan had known for 3 years, he felt the artifact pulse against his side where he'd secured it. Warmth spread through him, a sense of rightness that defied logical explanation. When he looked at Nyx, he found her watching him, a similar recognition in her cosmic eyes. The journey begins, she said softly. Are you afraid, Commander Vale? He considered the question honestly. No, he realized with some surprise. It feels like I've been waiting for this without knowing it. Her smile held secrets older than stars. Perhaps you have. Perhaps we all have. The Phantom vanished into the depths of space, leaving behind the world Tristan had known and racing toward mysteries that had waited millennia to be unveiled.